Good
Karin.
morning, Stefan.
How are you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm also excellent. I'm happy. It is the 7th of November, just for the record, so everybody knows when we are recording. We are at episode 18 already. Isn't that a progress?
That's really amazing. I wouldn't have thought that.
No, we really had to push through the first few episodes to find our grind and how we love to do them, right?
Yeah. I still don't know if people are actually listening to us, but I feel it's nice also just to have these conversations with you.
Exactly. And I hope that we can leave some legacy and that we look at this in 5 to 10 years and think, what did we say?
Yeah,
Maybe
and
we
what did we
learned.
think? Yeah, and see our growth in our thinking.
Exactly. So, talking about growth, that's one of our topics today. One of the claims you made in preparation for this podcast was um, maybe careers are dead. It was more like a question, and I want to link that to how can we as human beings now in this new complex world develop our strength at work. It's also a little bit related to the recruiting process. So, whoever is listening who's currently in a recruiting process or who is trying to change teams, maybe can link in and see how they are developing their strengths. So, we really want to talk about strength development, how we position those strengths in the team, right? Um, so, the first question, what did you mean with are careers dead?
Yeah, let me give you a little background. So, what I'm observing is a high number of reorganizations, a high number of um, uncertitude where you will be working, who you will be working with in, let's say, even 2 years' time. And at the same time, I see new people entering the workforce, and I'm wondering for them how their careers will transform. Because if we look back a generation, there was much more stability than we have today. I mean, when my father entered the workforce, he entered in a job where he would expect to also retire in, which he did. And I think that's something that's out of the picture for us. And it's certainly out of the picture for the next generation or Generation Z, which is now entering the workforce. So when I look back at my own career, I realized that I was growing a lot through the stability that I had, through the career path that was laid out in front of me, about knowing what I had to do to reach the next step, about being continually guided, and staying on the same track for some time to really go into the depths with some topics. And what I'm fearing is that this is harder for the people that are entering the workforce now, because I'm not so sure that they will have the stability in many places.
And also the time, maybe the chance. If you remember when we started as junior consultants, we really also got the time to go through some of these elements and to go into depth and to learn and to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I almost feel there's a sense of um, everything needs to be done with AI and you need to be ready already. And it's a little bit unfair if you look
Yeah, it
back.
doesn't help. Yeah.
It does not help. Yeah.
I mean,
Did
we
you?
started really, as you said, with stuff like writing minutes, which helped us to really see how people work together. What is the talk of the town, let's say, while doing this stupid minute writing, which of course we didn't like, but we were growing through it. And now minutes are taken by AI because it's so much more efficient. But this also reduces learning opportunities for people.
That's a good point. And also creating presentations, putting together reports, right?
Yeah.
It really helped you to understand what is needed from the customer, what is needed from my sponsors. I heard a word, I don't know if you created it. Is it uncertitude? You said that?
Did I say uncertainty?
Okay, because I thought you created the word uncertitude, which I quite like an attitude towards uncertainty and uncertainty. Yes, exactly. Okay, so it was not created. I just heard it bad. Um, yesterday I updated a book chapter of mine, and I talked about the illusion of linearity. And
What
this
do you
is a
mean with that?
it's a really great concept. and I have to read it so it's correct. The illusion of linearity refers to the false belief that growth, learning, success, or change follows a predictable, straight, and continuous path, step by step, with steady progress and a clear cause and effect. In reality, most meaningful development, whether personal, organizational, or societal, is nonlinear, full of plateaus, regressions, sudden leaps, and unexpected turns. So it's really like this. We have this simplify complexity by imagining progress as linear. So we have roadmaps, we have 5-year plans, right? So if you look at it, you can adapt it to everything. You can adapt it to personal growth, to career development, to organizational design, and to learning.
Yeah.
So for personal growth, it's like if I keep working hard, I will continue to get better. Or if I start as a junior, I will become senior, then I will become lead. If I implement a change in 3 phases, then I'm done. You know, if I
Yeah.
learn each of those modules, I will be an expert. So, but in reality, we have this like in careers we have these loops, so we go a little bit sideways, we do pauses, we reinvent ourselves, right? Same in the organizations, we have change which is kind of uneven. It's not the same in the whole, it's not the same in the whole place. And I was a bit worried because we're called tostep, but then I realized we're doing the steps, but we're doing the steps in exactly this way. We're doing a learning step, we're doing iterative steps, we're doing incremental steps, and it's a belief. It's not about taking the steps, right? So what you just mentioned as well is this assumption that you will start something and then at the end of retirement you will finish something and you will be done, or even like after you finish your education, it's just an illusion. It's not there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. What you just said about also adjusting the course, that's reality. And it has always been reality. But I still feel that at the beginning of a career, you need help to get on the right track first.
Yes.
It helps you if you have some guardrails, if you have some paths laid out. I don't say that it should still go till retirement, but it should give you like something that speeds you up till you have like the level of proficiency that you want to have in your topic.
But it's not only at the beginning of the career, it's also when you start in your role, right?
Yeah.
It's when you come into a new setup, you will also need this. And so what do people need to do? What do people need to face now to be ready?
Yeah. So when we started, we really had good leadership or good mentorship, however you want to call it. I have my former supervisors to thank a lot for the stuff that I learned. From the first one, I learned a lot about excellence. I learned how to be a high performer, how to consistently deliver, create value, get attention to detail. Also learned how to lead other people. And then from the second one, I really learned the Pareto principle, that it's 80% of your results that stem from 20% of your action, and that you should watch out for the right actions to do then. And also the importance of really being interested in other people, whether these are your customers, your employees, your colleagues, your peers, your supervisor, just having a keen interest and liking to get to know other people on a more human to human base, which is really something, that opened my heart to the workplace, let's say.
And I remember the sentence he said actually a lot of times in
Yeah.
German. Yeah.
You touched many hearts with it, yeah.
He
Can
touched
you
many
describe
hearts,
it?
and yeah, I know it's brilliant, and I have the similar feeling around my previous leaders, also in the job context, where they taught me a lot about quality standards, maybe how to work with teams, change management. I also know one of my first mentors. He just threw me into my first project, and I was like, oh, help. But in retrospect, it was just one meeting and then he was back again, right? So you're absolutely right. So what would be, if you would be a mentor now, what would be the key traits or the key things you would give to the
Yeah,
people,
let me finish answering your question before.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, which was, okay, what do people need now then?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So they might be lucky and still come and get a leader assigned, a mentor assigned that shows them how they used to do stuff so they can learn firsthand. And this is fast paced learning then. And I always think of the, you have to know the rules and be able to play by the rules to break them and change them. So that's also something to keep in mind, because people come in all the time with their fresh ideas and they want to revolutionize everything from day one. But normally there's always a reason why things are executed the way they are. So I think the first 2 3 years, just learning from someone, shadowing someone, being like in a supportive role, is really the fast-paced learning approach. So see if you can get that. See if you can become the sidekick of someone who is busy all the time. See if you can say, oh, I can be useful for you. I can take over stuff. Let me help you, because then you learn. You have time to watch and learn. And if you're unfortunate to not have that in your environment, maybe your corporation has something like a mentorship program where you can have someone from another department helping you out. And if not, we live in a time where we have access to so many people via media. We have podcasts, we have books, we have videos, whatever you want. And that's also for me a big influence till this day, to get new ideas, fresh ideas, to learn from people that I don't even know personally. I just know their books, I just know their videos, but it helps me tremendously to expand my mind, to learn from them. So if you don't have it in your company, then look and watch what you can get through the media that you have available.
Yeah, thanks for answering this. It's a very good point, because you can already do something even if you don't have that in your direct work context, right? You have access to so many inspiring people out there, and you can follow them, and you can pick what you like about how they speak, how they explain concepts, whatever, right? And try to mimic this in the beginning.
What would be your advice for people starting out?
Yeah, it's a similar advice, but it's really find someone who is excellent at something, as you said. Find someone who's better at something than you are, where you want to develop into, and be very, very, very demure, very mindful, and do everything you need to, to get them, like, to help them. It's a similar advice than yours. Find the books and the media that inspires you. I don't have anything new to add to yours, to be honest. I would do exactly the same. Maybe because we did the same, maybe there's something else, but yeah.
Maybe people can leave us a comment
Yeah.
if they have some impulse on that. I would
Yeah.
really love to hear more. Yeah.
That would be nice, how they could, like, how they maybe did it, right? Maybe it's also a generational thing, we don't know.
Yeah, could be. So
Coming
you
back.
were talking about traits. What do you mean with that?
Yes. So we're doing strength development. So there's a few frameworks like Gallup, where you have, like, what is my strength? Here's a list of strength. I give them some rating, and then my boss is going in and doing some rating. There are many other frameworks. But essentially what you're doing is you look at, what am I good at, right? So I'm maybe good at with people. I can talk very nicely with people. They open up to me. How do I translate this into a work context, right? So first I have to anticipate, or maybe talk to my leaders. What do they need in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe even 2 to 3 months? What do they need? What are the initiatives going on? And I need to kind of project my strength towards the current things going on. So if I'm a structured person, for example, I see a strength of myself to be a structured person. Sometimes I'm very chaotic, but that's a side track. But I'm a very structured person. So how can I help? And I would say I'm running structured initiatives or projects for my client. That's a business trait. If I want to see, like, growth in this, I need to describe how I want to extend on my strength in the 2 to 3 years. I'm giving this horizon, but it can also be 1 year. Going forward, right? So maybe I'm very good at talking, but talking in itself will not be a trait for the business, right? So maybe I can be heading some extent like some meetings for the department to share what their values are. I can run some workshops and gather also feedback. But I need maybe a training to facilitate workshops, for example. Then I could put that into my career plan. So I'm building. I have a strength. I'm building on it a trait, and then I'm building a growth potential. So that's the three steps. And when I have these three, I can talk to my leader, to my team leader, or to my PNC counterparts or whoever, to ask for trainings, because then it's very, very closely connected to what maybe the business needs.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying, to put it in other words, if you want to be valuable, value comes from giving something to people that they value. So think about what you can give to the world that is needed and that you have within you, that are your strengths that were given to you by God or the universe or whoever, and think about how you can put it into life in the context that you're in. That's the traits you mentioned. How can you live that here? How can others benefit from it? And then it's not about wishful thinking, but saying it out loud, stating it clearly. Because we see so many people who have like an ambition, but they hide it and think, oh, maybe somehow I get this opportunity and people will reach out to me and ask me to do it. If no one knows it,
And exactly, and the
most of it
fun,
is very
yeah,
close.
it's also, I can understand this because sometimes we have at least also I had the need this year where I said, why do I need to speak up so much about my work? Why do I need to do sales? Why do I need to do why do I need to do marketing? They should see that I'm doing good work. And people close in my environment, they maybe see it, they recognize it, but still, as a person in a team, you need to be able to learn to express your successes, your failures, your learnings, right? And there's even a link to how good you communicate with how great you will be evolving. It's a reality, right?
Yeah.
If you're shy, if you're shy about your emotions, which is, I'm not saying shy is bad, I'm just saying if you're shy about talking aloud about it, then people will maybe not see it. Some people may are sensitive to it and they maybe see it, but talk about
It's a
it.
disadvantage.
Yeah. And there can be a strength of being, for example, of being humble in the team, but this strength will hinder you to talk about your strength, so to
Yeah.
speak, because you will see yourself, your identity is almost like, I'm a humble person, so why should I talk about this?
Yeah.
Right. But this is my encouragement is to say, and how, now the question is, how do I do it? Do I brag about my strength? Do I brag about my traits? No. I talk about experiences. I talk about what I learned. I talk about what I want to do.
Yeah.
I maybe get feedback from my colleagues, honest feedback. Hey, what do you think about this? Did I really do a good job here? Or what can I improve? Best thing, as we know, is asking for advice. What can I do better?
Yeah. And also, you mentioned that the sales aspect. I think what's really gold for consultants is if they are recommended by a former client to someone else. So, if you really want to do a consultant a really, really great favor, please go ahead and just recommend it, him or her, to someone else that could benefit from the services. And this way, it's not even you who has to brag or say, hey, I'm so great, look what I've did. But it's someone else talking firsthand, hey, we worked together with this person, this really helped. And sometimes it needs this little push from our end to bring people to this idea, to give a recommendation. So I think that's also something which we need to do and can do, to just say, hey, do you have someone in mind who could benefit from working with us? What about recommending us?
And this is exactly the same dynamic within a company, but people forget it because, like, you're here, you're hired, you're doing a job, you have a role, right? But
Yeah.
um, essentially, it's also a team lead's job to say, "Oh, I have a person in my team. They're very good at this, this, and this. Do you want to kind of give get some ideas from this person. It doesn't mean they need to be dragged into another project, but you want to get some ideas. Maybe he can talk, or they can talk about their successes, right?
Yeah, it's also something crucial for leaders to do when they're in meetings with their peers. So if they're talking to other team leads, shine a light on the achievements of the people in your team, what they're good at, what they delivered, and so on. Because then it creates a picture in the head of the other people what these people can do, and they know who to approach in the future when a challenge arises.
Yeah. To summarize, a linear career might be dead. Creating a career where you experiment and you're doing loops and you're open about what your strengths are, what your traits are, what value you bring. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's really about communication.
Yeah, and like you said, it's going in loops, but it means you carry yourself and your strengths with you through the loops.
Mhm.
So think about what you can use that you learned in the past and how you can apply it differently to this new environment you're in, to this new thing that you want to grow into.
Absolutely. That being said, when you stop the podcast, take a sheet of paper, write down your strength. Cannot be wrong, and then take the other side of the paper and try to write, how can my team lead, my leadership, my company benefit from what I'm doing here? So if for example, if I'm a structured person, I can run structured projects, assignments, initiative, whatever is in your, or development, whatever is in your project, I can run this, right? So try to translate it and have this list ready, and maybe also give it to a colleague and ask them, does that match, or what do you think? Maybe give them also a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah.
So that's being said, let's close today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the practical advices on strength and career development. And thank you, Karin.
Thank you, Stefan.
And
And let us know in the comments if you have other impulses for us, like I said. Yeah.
exactly. Maybe you can also write your strengths and we can help you translate them to traits. Have a good day, everyone.
That's the end of our episode. If you liked this, please like, share, and subscribe.